And here, while we're waiting for the heavens to open, David, what are we in this week?
A Hyundai i20N.
Of course, much of what's in the i20 from Hyundai you can't see from the outside. But what you can see from the outside is the really cool body kit, which runs right around the bottom of the car, up the side. We've got these really very attractive, specially developed Hyundai N wheels and brake calipers.
18-inch, low profile, and very large brakes. They're nearly 13-inch discs.
And they're vented as well.
Mm.
The large elliptical exhaust, the lower diffuser, it looks brilliant. And a central fog light. It's as blingy as this tail light. And the reflector strip. A little bit of red going all the way across, and an i20 badge. David.
Okay.
There is a bit of space in here. And of course, a lower floor. Is there anything under that? A space saver spare look. There's actually probably enough room. And this is what I was saying last week about the car that we had last week, is that with that lower floor not in, you could probably have a full-size spare tyre. I suspect the reason they don't is weight. They're trying to pare down the weight on this. What's the weight, David?
1210. But if you fill it at the tank up, it's about 1235, which is light.
And
That's
if you
what
fill
they
our
emphasise.
tanks up, it's about 1950.
Well, a WRX would be 250 kilograms heavier, for example, but it's a bigger
And that's just
car.
with once we get in.
That's, I was going to say 2.5 men, but maybe no more.
2.5 normal men. 1.5 of us. Let's have a look inside.
There's quite an amount of room here.
That's surprising.
The floor is a bit high, so I can't get my feet under there as
But
well as I
you could probably
might.
put the front seat up.
Possibly,
Yeah.
yeah. But
Headroom?
equally, I sit quite high and I'm not feeling encased by this as
Claustrophobic?
much. Claustrophobic, yeah.
And what have we got? Vents? What do we have in the
No, we
no
don't,
vents?
we don't have a vent in the middle, but we do have a USB battery power.
I'll tell you what I do like in there, David, is the French Racing Blue stitching. They've not gone for red, they've gone for blue.
Which would suit the colour of car you'd like the most.
Well, I think this blue looks absolutely sensational.
Tell me about the speakers in that.
Bose, David, this has Bose speakers. They are absolutely brilliant. The interior is very plasticky, but do you know what? I can forgive it that because it is such a absolute perler on the road. The front screen for infotainment, well, I suppose there's only one screen. The screen for infotainment, 10.25, another 10.25 over here, becoming standard in Hyundai, David.
They're certainly proliferating.
And below that, a single zone climate control system,
Yes.
which I'm okay with. Below that, corded Apple CarPlay. Let me just put my iPhone in.
You notice it doesn't have all those sort of luxury features that the upmarket Hyundais have. It doesn't have heated or cooled seats.
Oh, it doesn't need them. Still has a Qi charger. A couple of USB points, one of which connects to the audio system. So I now have my Apple CarPlay up. But look, Dave, let's talk about the steering wheel.
Alan, I've got colours.
You've got a couple of drive modes down here, first of all on the center console in front of the manual gear selector. But up here on the steering wheel, you've got a programmable N. There's no downshifting.
Is this what this rev then means?
See, you're getting ahead of yourself again.
I
That's
just
what
thought
this
this
red
might-
means.
I thought that might have been the Jesus button.
Oh dear. So there you go, rev matching on. So now when you shift down, you get those lovely rev matches. So it gives the engine a blip.
I'm holding the clutch down and it's not too heavy. I let it out, it's wonderfully easy.
It is beautifully light, and that's what I like about this. Now, of course, it is rack-mounted electric power steering, which I'm normally not all that impressed on, but they seem to have gotten this pretty much right. You're able to change then gears without the entire system needing big hugs. We've just gone over a little bump and we've demonstrated the first thing that you need to notice.
Yes, it's certainly got a stiff suspension.
It is stiff, David, like a good drink on a Saturday afternoon. I think this is stiff enough to put hairs on your chest. Pleasing little buzz in the engine.
Nice sound. Nice sound.
60s sports car-esque. Hear the little popping back spitty thingy?
Alan, you pointed out from your experience there was no axle tramp.
Now, remember years ago, the last Ford Focus ST that I drove, they controlled the torque steer with electronic wizardry. Frankly, it did a really bad job of it. All it did was make the steering super light. And if you did this, it was all very, very hard to manage. This they've managed with a limited slip diff. So that means there's
a mechanical.
So it's not, by mechanical, David, means it's not using the ABS to sort the car out. It's using good, proper engineering. Well, there's a few things I want to point out. The car will tell you when to change up. Well, now remember, this is a track-focused car, so front and centre in front of David is a very, very clear digital readout of the speedo, but even bigger than that is the gears. And this car has 10 to 20 seconds of overboost available that it will just do of its own accord if you sink your loafer into the Axminster. Although I think this probably isn't Axminster and you're not wearing loafers. It's just such a fun car. Now they've called this Rascally Handling. Rascally Handling. What do you make of that?
I don't understand it.
I think they're trying to make us feel young. It's going to take some doing to make us feel young.
I've got a little warning sign on here about...
It's because it's turned your AEB off.
Oh, has it?
Yeah, so we don't want that.
Because I'm in sport mode.
Correct. Well, you're in N mode. You're in N mode, yeah.
Okay.
So it changes the AEB and the traction control and all of that sort of stuff because you'd put that on when you're on a track. Now, we're not on a track and we were driving very carefully. But of course, you really don't want to turn off that stuff. And all of those supercar failures that you've seen on YouTube are all due to one thing. They've turned the traction control off and stuck the boot in.
Yes.
They're idiots. But look, there are a few drawbacks to having a manual.
Yes.
For a start, the cruise control is not smart cruise control.
This has launch control.
It does. I know I did read through how to use the launch control, and I hasten to add it's a moist day. And David, what are we not going to do?
Use launch control.
The launch control. It's a city car. It's easy to park. There's a great reversing camera. And above all, it's easy to maneuver. Tiny, tiny turning circle the size of a ballet slipper. But look, there are a couple of drawbacks to this, and we've found this in other Hyundai Group cars, Hyundai and Kia, and that is this 1.6 turbo. There is a bit of lag. I apologise for my squeaky shoes. They got a little bit damp when we changed drivers. And it's not the clutch squeaking, it's my shoe. Now I've got rev matching on, so as I shift down, you can just hear the revs change upwards without us being jerked back in our seats. And just before we go, I want to show you a little bit of footage of me taking this up and down the old Pacific Highway just below pie in the sky.
Okay.
And the best part is, when it's in N mode, it gives you a little bit more exhaust sound as well. Just so that you can be absolutely sure that you're in a proper pucker N car. The turn-in is just beautiful. Sometimes you get a little bit of oversteer in front-wheel drive cars. And it's not very nice, especially on a racetrack. This is just sublime. Now, I'm not going to lie, the ride is very hard. Very hard. But it's not so hard that it rearranges organs every time you go around a corner or hit a small bump, because you don't. There isn't a person alive that's driven the i20N and not loved it. The only people that might have a reservation are those that can't drive a manual transmission, and for them I feel truly sorry. That's it for the i20N, a car we both like a lot.
Yes, it is both easy to drive and it performs beautifully.
Ooh, that's as pretty as a peach, and I love that engine sound. For a change, that burble in a 4-cylinder doesn't sound ridiculous. But as always, it's come time to hit like.
Leave a comment.
And just over here to subscribe.